day, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this TeamLease Industry Dialogue, where we'll have the opportunity to exchange ideas, insights, and experiences related to our sector. This dialogue is a great opportunity for us to come together, share our knowledge, and collaborate to find innovative solutions to certain challenges that we face. So, talking about the industry, which is the context of the discussion here today, the snack manufacturing market in India, which is a category within the F&B segment of FMCG, is a highly competitive and growing space with a wide variety of local and international players. India has a strong snacking culture, with consumers preferring a mix of traditional Indian snacks and Western-styled snacks as well. The market is dominated by giants such as PepsiCo, ITC, Haldirams, and of course DFM Foods, among others. The Indian snack market is expected to continue its growth trajectory, driven by factors such as increasing urbanization, changing lifestyles, and growing disposable incomes. Snack companies are innovating their product offerings to cater to the evolving tastes and preferences of consumers, with a focus on healthier and more nutritious snack options. If the recent M&As in the industry are any indication to go by, then that's exactly the direction in which F&B companies are headed. Overall, the snack manufacturing market in India offers a significant opportunity for companies to expand their product offerings and reach a growing consumer base, an aspiring consumer base with more and more disposable income with every passing day. With a focus on quality, innovation, and a strong distribution network, companies can differentiate themselves in this competitive market and gain a significant share of the market. Having said this, we are excited to host today's event, Industry Dialogue, that will touch upon the pressing topic of how companies evolve their workforce with technological advancements in the snack industry. So it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Venkatesh MS, who's the CHRO of DFM Foods. Sir, pleasure having you on board. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule for joining us today.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Bala and team. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity and take my views for whatever purpose you have in mind. And I'm really honored.
Yeah. No, I think you're being very humble, sir, because Mr. Venkatesh, as you may know or may not know, has over 35 years of professional experience. He is an HR professional with hard-won experience in organizational transformation, leadership development, talent management, and retention across FMCG, heavy engineering, telecom, life insurance, education, consulting, and healthcare sector. I think I just ended up naming pretty much all major industries in the country. Some of his passionate goals are, delivering ROI by aligning HR to business, organizational transformation, like I mentioned before, talent management and performance enablement, leadership coaching and development. And he specializes in, like I said, leadership development, org transformation and retention. So once again, sir, welcome to the Industry Dialogue. Looking forward to an engaging session with you.
Thank you, Bala. Looking forward.
Thank you, sir. So just to begin with, you've personally been yourself in DFM for the last 3 years, and this is not obviously your first experience in consumer products companies any which ways. So as a player in the snack manufacturing industry, what are the employment trends that you have seen in the last 5 years?
See, there is a huge amount of demand for people in the snack segment because the margins are low. And see, any FMCG company, and now I can talk about snack companies very confidently. Any FMCG company, they have their maximum people in sales as well as in supply chain. So when I mean supply chain includes not only the logistics bit and distribution inventory, it also includes manufacturing. And so we need to ensure the freight cost is the least and our ability to reach the market is the shortest route that we take, so that our freight cost, because in a snack industry, the volume occupied by the snack is much, much higher than the weight. So hence my freight cost is very, very important. Bala, nobody better than you will understand this. You are a procurement specialist and you are a supply chain specialist.
Yeah.
And sales, how many ever people you give me, I'll be more than happy to absorb them. Because today people are available, but skills are not available. So we are building a Sales Excellence Academy. As I'm talking to you, I'm building the Sales Excellence Academy, which is customized to, these snack selling skills. Today, snacks has different variable margin across different product lines. So the range selling itself is important for a PSR or an ISR in an outlet, and he has to do 42 outlets every day, total calls and the productive calls. And if he doesn't make at least 10,000 rupees per day at an average of about 400, 500 rupees per outlet, 600 rupees per outlet, then the business is not going to get their ROI. So it's important, and that too, when we go to a lower pack size, than 5 rupee pack, then obviously, the value per outlet becomes even lower. So his ability to sell range and sell more and ensure the cycle of selling, and also the distributor needs to extend credit in the market. So the agility of the distributor, the agility of my ISR versus PSR, and the overall agility of my supply chain to keep the market, served continuously with fresh. It needs to be fresh. Whatever we sell a snack needs to be fresh. So that's very, very important for us.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you ensure, to your point, productivity of the people is probably even more important within the snacks category in FMCG, because the value per cubic foot that you would be selling is a lot lower than it is in probably other categories such as, say, shampoos or soaps, for example, right? Because in 1 cubic foot there is hardly any empty space. You just pack it with products and the value is a lot more, but then here that is not the case. So how do you exactly manage this productivity problem in ensuring that you are able to maximize the outcome? So as you rightly said, 10,000 rupees a day translates to about 2.5 lakhs a month, and that's about 30 lakhs for the year essentially. So how do you ensure that 30 lakh sales happens from a sales guy who makes less than 30,000 rupees a month?
So that is the biggest journey that we have embarked on. So when we acquired this company, it was a listed company. Now we have got ourselves delisted. So they were about 485 crores, 484 crores to be precise, and they had an EBITDA of 13%. Now we are investing heavily in the marketing and on the BTL activities in the market, as well as on the feet on street. So now, how do I ensure productivity? There are multiple ways of enhancing productivity. So any resource who comes as an ISR or PSR or ASO or ASM, they need to hit the ground up and running from day one. So I will look for somebody who is experienced in FMCG, and if they are experienced in snack selling, it's all the more easier for me. But normally you wouldn't get the guys who are experienced in snack selling.
Yeah.
And snack selling is about ready stock unit. In 5 rupiya pack mein, you cannot afford a order booking unit or a pre-seller, so you call, wherein you have to pay at least 15,000 in-hand salary to that fellow. But RFU are the people on the rolls of the distributor. So he is a rickshaw puller who fills the rickshaw with all the snacks and goes every day out. Number one, the sales officer has to ensure the routes that he has, they run. Because the attrition, because these rickshaw pullers get on an average a salary of about 10,000. If he gets 10,000 in hand, it's something phenomenal. I don't think the distributor would pay 10,000 rupees to him. He may pay at best 8,000 in hand. Yeah. So the guy, even if he gets 200 rupees, 300 rupees more, the next day he wouldn't come. So for me, his attendance, I am not very certain. Just because he has come today, I can't be sure whether he'll come tomorrow. So my ability to keep the distributor engaged, to be in touch with the RSU, running an RSU, ready stock unit, is very, very tough.
Yeah.
And on top of it, the rickshaw puller is tired, and his ability to go and sell, he does not really upsell or even sell. So I need to ensure at least a sales officer does 24 beats in a month, because at least once he goes with this rickshaw puller and ensures the cycle of doing at least 8,000 to 10,000 rupees. When an SO goes, he will be able to do 10,000 rupees per day. But then what happens is, he has filled the outlet with a particular inventory. So again, when he goes to the same outlet in a week, after a week, at least he will be able to replenish the stock. So he may not be able to, if he has sold about 15 laddies in an outlet, so the next week he will go. Earlier he would have sold 4-5 laddies. Now he will be able to sell at least 8 to 10 laddies.
Right.
So that's how transactional it is. So it is important for me for the SO to go with each and every RSU unit at least once in a month, so that there is some kind of productivity that he is able to set by a habit that he creates to the outlet, saying that, okay, now I've got 15 laddies. Now when the next time the RSU guy goes, after a week, then he would have sold about 7 laddies. So he will be able to sell, he will push for another, say he will replace the 7 laddies first, and then whatever he gets. So your minimum number of laddies, if you are able to, normally it is around 6 to 7. So if you are able to achieve the 6 to 7 per outlet, then you will be easily able to make about 10,000 per day. So that's how you do it, and it's a very tough one, and productivity keeps on going up and down. So my job of a sales officer or an ASM is to be continuously in touch with the ready stock unit at least, because if it is big outlets and where the distributor is an anchor distributor and he gets better ROI, hence he will be able to afford better sales guys, PSRs or ISRs. So the PSR in a retail market and ISR in a rural market.
Right.
So the PSR can be paid better, then he'll take a bike and take orders, because those are the big outlets. They may buy around 25-30 laddies per outlet.
So, I mean, it's amazing that you're saying that you will have to get a supply chain guy, a delivery guy to also act as a quasi-sales guy. Otherwise, the economics will not really work out for you. That's brilliant though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what you're saying, right? Because obviously in larger operations, you would have a separate team of sales guys who may guide the delivery guys, and the delivery van might probably do rounds and deliver to the stores where orders have been generated on that day or maybe the previous day. That's usually the point.
It's the same here. See, when I sell a ₹5 pack, I cannot afford, normally in a typical FMCG company, the salesman is on the off-roll, like TeamLease or whoever it is. But he takes a bike and he does his total call are about on an average 42. 42 is a research number. So he will go 42 calls and he'll take the order. And there is a vehicle, a distributor guy from the distributor point, he will be informed, saying that ye route hai, in all of these routes, he knows the outlet, yahan itna maal thok dena. So that distributor fellow will go and place the products in the respective outlet. That is the order booking unit. Now, order booking unit, cost of establishing an order booking unit is very high, because the distributor gets about 7% margin, 6 to 7%. And now in that 7%, if he has to give 15,000 rupees and his ability to invest, if it's going to be about 2 to 3 lakhs, because in the snack segment, you get only small guys. So dime a dozen small guys will be there, and you will have a very few big distributors who are willing to invest around 25 lakhs.
Correct.
So which means he will do a turnover of about 2.5 times, you can take it as.
Right.
So he will be at least doing around 62 lakhs per month, right? So on that, if you take about 7%, so which is about
3.5 to 4 lakhs kind of in that range.
So when he makes that kind of a margin, then he will be able to pay his salesman a salary of about 15,000 net in hand. But now when I have a small distributor, his capacity to invest is only 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs. And total will be around 10-12 lakh in a month, even in a rotated 4 times also. Still, so his margin will be very, very low. So if it is 12 lakh, so 12 sevens are how much? 84,000, right? So 84,000 is what he will make. In the 84,000, he will have his one route he might do, another route he may have a RSU, ready stock unit. In that 84,000, he will give 10,000 to that fellow. And then he will have market outstanding, credit, and he will have his go down. And all of those expenses, जाने के बाद, possibly he may get around 22,000.
Wow.
So,
even a small distributor only makes about as much as a high performing sales guy in FMCG. That's
I want to tell you, the small distributor, his profile is a guy, he would have been a PSR in his earlier avatar, wherein he would have been at the mercy of some distributor. Now he will accumulate some savings, and then he wants to become a distributor by himself, where he can invest about 2 lakhs, so that he's not dependent on somebody. For him, it's a status, saying that now I'm a distributor. Now every month, confidently, I can earn 25,000 rupees per month, and I'm my own Malik. So I don't have to depend on anybody. So he's very happy. Now for us, that's a bad situation, because I want that fellow to invest more. He's very happy with 25,000 per month. So now if I want to invest, if I want him to invest, अरे भाई 2 लाख को 5 लाख करो, 5 को 10 करो. He said, sir, मेरे में हिम्मत नहीं है, मेरे को बहुत दे. So that's the situation we are in. So our ability to appoint anchor distributors in the market, or ability to invest 25-30 lakhs. Then what happens? My freight, I don't have to take my mal to the CFA. It will straight go to the distributor, and so my freight cost is better, and the distributor's ability to distribute in the market is better. His ability to give credit in the market is better. So my outlet sale is better and offtake will be better. So that's the game. And if you see, though Haldiram is my competition, they have done this beautifully. And so is Balaji Snack. They have done it so well in Gujarat. So we do very well in UP. For us, UP is a very, very big market, and we do it really, really well. In North, we are very strong because we have one factory in this place, Greater Noida, and one factory in Ghaziabad. And we have a chips factory in Kashipur.
So then UP distribution just becomes within the same state, and that's a lot easier for you as well. It's faster, cheaper.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And I think given the SKUs that you have as well, the product market fitment would also be fantastic for a market like UP, I believe.
Correct.
It should be aspirational, but not too much at a premium price point either, I believe, right? So that's how it works in UP.
Exactly.
So, Venki sir, that brings me to my next question. So, when you are competing with all these giants that I just named, in the market, they are currently employing all these feet on street salespeople at a handsome 16,000 to 20,000 fixed salary plus high incentives as well, right? The overall, pay that these guys could be making would be in the range of 20 to 25,000 easily. So, and these guys are employed on an average at the rate of about 5 to 10 salespeople per distributor, right? How do you compete with these people, right? And if you want to really get access to a large market through one of these big distributors, then how are you able to crack that? How are you able to attract talent when this is the kind of playing field?
That's the biggest challenge for me, because established brands like Haldiram, Pepsi, Balaji Snacks, because they have established themselves. So the brand is very, very well established. For example, extruded snacks, we are the kings in North and in UP. And for chips, it is Lay's. For namkeen, it is Haldiram. Right? So now they will try to, capture market share of my extruded as much as I will try to capture their market share on chips. Right? And similar on namkeen. So their ability, obviously, the guy who's able to manage line efficiencies, yield, procurement cost, because at the time of inflation, the oil prices go up, packaging material prices go up. So your ability to manage cost of goods sold at a good material margin is one important aspect of being successful in this business. Right? And for example, there are players, I don't want to name the brand here. There are players when at the time of inflation, if they manage their supply chain efficiencies really, really well, when others are trying to increase prices, he will reduce price. I mean, how does the increase in price happen? By decreasing the grammage. Now, there are smart players here who will, when others are decreasing the grammage, he will increase the grammage, right? Because of his distribution strength. He will say, I will make the variable margin and I will make my overheads, I will keep it low. And your ability to control your overheads and increase your variable margin and increase distribution gives you the strength to play really well in the market, right? So, competing with, they are not going to pay, obviously, if they have to have a healthy, variable margin, they cannot employ people at a very great salaries. That way, we are all on an equal platform. He cannot pay he cannot pay a huge salary for a 5 rupee a pack distributor for distribution, right? Because the value per outlet is going to be very low. But in 10 rupees, 20 rupees, and going to the big stores and selling 25 laddies, 30 laddies per outlet and making 15,000 per day, 20,000 per day in the big outlets and having the order booking unit, that's the smartness. So there is e-commerce, then there is modern trade. So all of those things come into play.
Absolutely. Wonderful. No, that actually gives a lot of clarity, because you will have to play the game differently and not try to play the same game in a different way. It doesn't make any sense. Game itself should be different for you. No, so I completely hear what you're saying.
And if a big brand thinks that I'm an established brand, so theek hai, chal jayega, karke, if it thoda diesel rate, somebody else will capture your market. Yellow Diamond will come in.
Correct.
In just 1 month, you will know where you are. So it's such a competitive market, and there are local players.
Yeah.
And they give better price point to the distributor and as well as to the outlet.
Correct. Absolutely. In fact, in all these small format tapri kind of stores, right, you would find that there are packets and packets and packets of all these unknown brands, but then visually they are indistinguishable from the products of these big brands. The grammage is more at a very attractive price point as well. Yeah.
Correct.
So the grammage is almost the same that you would get in a 10 rupees packet at the big brand versus what you would get the 5 rupee packet at the small brand.
So if you go to Sealda in Kolkata, there we sell one laddy at 52 rupees.
Yeah.
The competition will sell it at around 36 rupees. So the wholesaler, it's a wholesaler market. So that guy would go for the 36 rupees, and it's also the quality is not as, may not be as good as ours, but it's not as bad as well.
Yeah, sure. Also, you brought up an interesting point regarding during times of inflation, your packaging cost goes up, your commodities prices go up, obviously. So you also went through that, because being a snacks company, bulk of your procurement would be in commodities, right? So, which means that is something out of your control, and it's something you have to endure, at least for the short term. Which means there will be even more pressure on the wage bill, right? So, at that point in time, how would you optimize or manage your COGS, this cost of goods sold, like you said? How did you manage that?
So, cost of goods sold is a play of the, how effectively you are managing your procurement and what kind of discounts you give in the market, trade schemes that you give in the market and discounts you give in the market, and you have to be very mindful of that. So that's when you will be able to get your material margin, because there is a gross revenue, then there is a net revenue, then there is material expenses, then there is material margin, then there is variable margin, right? So obviously your ability to, when you give a scheme, you should know in what product line, which SKU you want to give the scheme, and that scheme has to be successful. How is the competition doing that on the sales side? And on the supply chain side, you have to continuously ensure that your price points at which you procure, whether all of these commodities, all of this oil price, packaging material, all of those things are something, the procurement job is very, very tough. and they have to have their ears to the ground. They have to be very sharp. They should anticipate how the forces are playing in the market, and they need to plan their buying, procurement carefully. And vendor management is the biggest one for being successful.
Completely. So, to one of the first points that you mentioned, that the biggest number of employees would be in the sales side or the supply chain side. So, supply chain,
Both.
as you said, right? So, supply chain is not just the distribution part of it, but also the manufacturing part of it, right?
Correct.
So, you said you have 2-3 plants, all of them in the northern part of the country. How do you manage blue-collar workforce, and is there any change or evolution you've seen in how blue-collar workforce is managed in the last 3-4 years that you've been here?
Yeah, I don't want to comment about the erstwhile employer. So that is the leverage that possibly the other players, entrepreneurial guys would have. So their complaint will be something that needs to be checked. But in our case, our journey has been, and the labor also here, for example, in Noida, they're used to working for 12 hours. So suddenly if you change it to 8 hours, they're not interested to come. That's a practice. Now we changed. We said, no, if you have to work for 12 hours, then I have to pay 4 hours of overtime. And I can't pay overtime. And why should I pay overtime? So the labor believes that if they work for 12 hours, they get a better salary. And that is how all of these players do the game. And now for me, I have to ensure they work only for 8 hours. And once I give them 8 hours, the labor thinks मैं 4 hours खाली बैठूंगा, कुछ पैसा नहीं आ रहा है. So their propensity to come to me is very low. But I need to, ensure the contractor gets people, explain to them, and get things moving. And also the sales demand happens only in the last 10 days across, all the companies in this industry. So
that is true. I've seen that. You're right. The last 10 days, there is so much push that in the last 10 days, you'll do more equal to whatever you did in the first 20 days, if not more. So
evolution of labor has been, we need to build a bond with all of them, whether it is contract labor, whether it is, permanent labor. So whenever care orientation is very, very important. Whenever there's an accident happens, so you need to take care of them, irrespective whether it is a manager, labor, contract labor. I don't care. I would do the same thing as much as I would do to a manager, or as much as I would do, God forbid, to any of the management team members, if at all anything happened to them. I would do the same expense. I don't care. For me, safety, quality, efficiency are very, very important. So if I place importance to all of these three, I have to place importance to care orientation of my labor. So that's the change. They know that now Advent has taken over and these guys are fair, and if anything happens to me, these guys take care of us. So building that care orientation through insurance policies, through accident policies, accidental insurance policies, and all of those things are important.
Wonderful, sir. No, I understand. They need to have that sense of belonging, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
They need to feel that they are cared for. Yeah. So, to your previous point, you were talking about how if they work for 8 hours, it may not sound very lucrative to them because they're used to working 12 hours because they see it as an opportunity for making more money. But now, very recently, the government has also announced that it should be 48 hours in a week, right? It can be 12 into 4 or 8 into 6 as well. Is that helping you manage some of these expectations? Or
sorry to say, none of the government rules is helping me because the draconian archaic Factories Act and the Contract Labor Regulation Abolition Act and the Inspector Raj are some people, though the government is trying to bring about a lot of labor reform and to be on the side of the investors, the employers, and also because these labor laws cater to only 6% of the labor population. Baki, 94% are unorganized. and none of these laws is being applied to them. Now they need to aggressively change and ensuring, because overtime limit is there 9 hours a day or 48 hours a week. So you have to pay double the wages for 9 hours a day or 48 hours a week. And also overtime is limited number of hours by section 64 and 65 of the Factories Act. So now these Factories Act regulate what is the quantum of overtime that you could do for certain kind of jobs, and under exceptional pressure of work, what is the quantum of overtime that you could do. In a quarter, somebody cannot do more than 50 hours for certain particular job. That can go up to 75 hours. So hardly it's about half an hour per day. And that's not enough for me to, get the cost realization of deploying labor. So these are some things that need to be worked upon, and possibly the lawmakers need to look at the archaic laws. Factories Act of 1948, Industrial Disputes Act of 1947, Contract Labor Regulation Abolition Act of 1972, and all of these legislations are very, very old, prevailing to Supreme Court judgments, precedents, and all of those. So those need to definitely change drastically. So whatever they say fixed term contract that has been introduced, fixed term contract was available even before. Under the retrenchment section 2BBO very clearly says retrenchment as exclusive definition. So if somebody is working from X date to Y date, it is not deemed as retrenchment. So it's nothing new. It's not. What I'm trying to say is that nothing new is going to help me drastically. That was there all the time. So we need better reforms on the, for better productivity.
Yeah.
And I think this government is aware of it. They're focused on it. And we need better proactive inspectors to help us.
Got it, sir. On that subject, I wanted your thoughts on two things. One, like you were saying, would better reforms by way of the proposed labor codes, the four parts of the labor code, would that really help us? And secondly, to manage the cost realization, the point that you were alluding to, how much do you think technology is going to help you in the future? So on these two things.
Technology is a big help. So without technology, this can't work. For example, only through a Salesforce automation app, I will know whether my workforce, feet on street, is doing the total calls and what is the productive call. And I need to link the salary and TADA to the number of calls, total calls he has made. And that's how I can get productivity, right? So how can I make it happen? That can be made if I don't have a Bizom tool or any Salesforce automation tool. I will not be able to do this. And we are trying to, get all the schemes, discounts that we want to give to the distributor. That also needs to be automated so that the claim process for the distributor is far more easier. So without automation, life is hell. And with automation only we can survive.
Got it, sir. And what about the labor codes? Would that actually help in, alleviating some of the, to use your term, the burdens that are still being carried by the employers and employees here because of the archaic laws?
Not really. No? Labor codes are, I don't know. I don't want to comment too much about it. But labor codes honestly are not helping me. The wage code talks about ceilings of salaries, and those things are, fine. They're not helping me. For example, in Delhi, the minimum wage is so high for a skilled, 20,000, and for a semi-skilled, it is about 18,000, and for unskilled, it's about 16,000. It's so high. Now, there is PF and all of those, the NEEM scheme, NAP schemes have been introduced, but obviously, I cannot hire skilled people in under NAPs, right? And these are some challenges. I think I don't want to complain about it, we need to find a way, and I'm sure the government is aware of it, and the Sector Skill Council is aware of it, and now the National Apprentice Promotion Scheme is NAPS is very, very good. They have done it through the portal. They have said that 2%, 2.5% to 10% you can of the total. Earlier it was based on the ratio of fitters, electrician. Now it's been eased out. So those are something that are very helpful. I am very confident in the days to come these things will change. But at least change has started. But when you ask me now, is there any impact for you as a business advantage? Not really.
Thank you so much for the candid answer about that, sir. So maybe one last question before we close. In light of all this, what would be your view, and specifically what is it that you as the CHRO of DFM Foods is looking to do in the future with respect to attracting talent, retaining them, developing them and making them more productive for the future? What is your people management strategy essentially?
So number one, ensure your existing talent are engaged. So continuous monitoring of their engagement level and ensure that they are completely engaged, which means the managers need to be trained as to how to engage people reporting into them. That's one important thing. Building a succession plan of making developments, introducing development centers and assessment centers to assess people's competence and show them the path. Because more often organizations take it on themselves, saying that I will create a career for you. No, I am very, very candid, saying that the employee's responsibility to be sure of what career he or she wants. An organization can create a platform for you, can facilitate, provided you have a clear aspiration. Right? I can support you to build your development plan as long as you are also spending from your wallet to develop yourself. So that is a culture that we are trying to bring about. And thirdly, we have also gone to campuses for the first time. So I have gone to I'm going to tier 2 institutes. IIM Ranchi and LBS IIM and IMT Ghaziabad, and have gone to Ashoka. So we are getting about 11 management trainees joining us on June 15. And they are not going to be left in the hands of any of my field managers, because their induction and their orientation and their engagement and settling into the roles, because after 1 year they are going to become ASM. So that project, which means making their stint schedule, and what projects are they given and what help they need to execute those projects, and supporting them to execute the project well and reviewing them and giving them feedback to improve. And that feedback is not to discourage them, it is an engaging performance. Engagement needs to be the important parameter of success here. So once we do this consistently for 1-2 years, then I will start attracting the premier talent into my organization. Like Pepsi does it very well.
No, that's wonderful to hear. But almost a dozen people in one shot, and then the institutes you named aren't exactly tier 2, tier 2. I would probably say tier 1.5.
Yeah.
So that's a great start in itself. And really glad to hear that you're looking at a 1-year window for them to be able to learn the business, and then for them to be able to show productivity, right? So that actually gives them a fantastic on-road experience. So how are you facing this out, if I may ask, this 1 year? I mean, what are the skills that they will have within this?
So the first 6 months, they are going to be oriented across sales, supply chain, finance and IT. So a little bit of HR will be there, because I don't want to highlight HR so much, because people management is going to be there even in their sales stint, even in their supply chain stint, even in finance stint and IT, right? So we have projects identified which range from 4 weeks to 6 weeks to 8 weeks. So first 6 months, they will be rotated across these departments. and the next 6 months will be subcharge. So I have clearly told them that they are not going to be in metro town. They will be in rural. So during the campus itself, I told them anybody who wants to stay, in metro cities, please
and
don't come.
5-star hotels, then don't come and join.
No, don't come to me. Right? I have explained the life of a sales officer. So in the first 6 months, they will be a sales officer. In the second 6 months, they will be given a subcharge. So they will go to a particular territory and they will become a team leader or a territory manager kind, where they will have SOs under them, and they will be given specific project. The project will be to increase the weighted distribution here, or normal distribution and weighted distribution, or it could be related to revenue, how to enhance the revenue at a particular place, and or it may be related to GTM. So there are projects around this. So they will be given a project for the second 6 months, and after they finish the second 6 months, they will come and present to the management team, and then they will be confirmed. So then once they are confirmed as senior ASS. So they go as senior area sales managers, where 6 SOs report to them.
That's brilliant to hear. So at least senior ASM is a big leg up compared to what they would get in any other larger FMCG company. So that's the catch for them essentially, right? I mean, that's that should hopefully pull them in. Okay, fantastic. Great to hear that, sir. I mean, I'm really happy that even in this environment, you're somebody who's investing positively in talent, and
absolutely
use this as a base to attract even better talent in the future. So wonderful to hear that. Thank you so much, really, for firstly joining us, and secondly for sharing your deep, insightful views on this. And I think the first half of this conversation you were like a CMO, and in the second half you were more like a CHRO. So I would say you are more like a CEO overall, right? So thank you so much for being that diverse in your coverage and also being very insightful, sir. Thanks a ton for joining us.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you for the compliment.